Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a really cool bass or panfish fly called the Plopper. I'm going to make a green one today. What you're going to need is some ice chenille for the body, some skirt material, like 3 different piles, 2 piles of 3 strands and a pile of a good bunch of strands, some 3D eyes, and 2 1/2-inch foam strips, 1 millimeter thick each. You could get adhesive kinds that you peel the backing off and they stick together, but I don't have it today, so. And green thread. What you're going to do first, start your thread halfway down the hook shank and just wrap to the point of the hook. Snip the tag off. Then you're gonna take the biggest bunch of skirt material you have, and you're gonna want to tie it in. I'm gonna double this over, so I gotta find the exact middle of it. That looks about good. Start with really loose wraps and get tighter. You really want to focus on this part and make it nice. There we go, that's secure. And then I'm going to double it back over. I want to make sure I get all those strands in there. And just tie that down also. Make sure you get this centered on the top of it. And that looks good. And now you want to cut this about a hook's length up. So that's where I'm going to cut it. Doesn't matter how neat it is, it's good to make it messy. And when this gets a little wet, they'll all go back. It won't be that crazy. Next, you're going to tie down your foam body. What you're going to do is advance your thread to about 1/4 inch behind the hook, and you're going to take your foam piece that you want on the bottom. I'm going to make a color pattern today that has the lighter color on the bottom. It's kind of like a bright green. And you're going to take that bottom color and cut it to a taper so it makes it easier to tie it on. You're just going to secure it down, tie it all the way back, and back forward again. Center it on top as you tie. Tie it down really good. You want to make sure you tie it until you get to the point where you started tying in your skirt, and that looks like a good point to stop. I'm just going to keep securing it down, and now it's all secure. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take your other foam strip, and since mine isn't adhesive, I'm going to put some super glue. I'm going to cover this piece all up in super glue. Just put a nice line down the middle, and this will drip, so I'm going to put a little lid under the fly so it doesn't drip onto my table. I'm just going to stick that down. Make sure you get super glue evenly spread out. And stick it down. Make sure you get it as even as you could make possible. Okay, now the super glue is dry. What you're going to want to do is just cut these off evenly. Make sure you get it straight across. Actually, it doesn't matter. At this point, you'll cut it again later probably. Now you're going to tie in your body, just standard crystal chenille, just tie it in at the back, and advance your thread to the front of the hook, and just start wrapping your body. Let me cut this really quick. I'm using white because I'm going to try to make it look like a frog with a white belly and a green back. Just going to wrap this nice and thick. Okay, when you get to the front of the hook, just toss it over, tie it down, and cut off the extra. Now just secure that down. I like to pull it back and just secure a little head, and there you go. Now you're gonna pull this forward and just tie it down. Make sure you get that wrap straight across, and you're going to really want to crank down here. At this point it's going to look like a gurgler fly like I made in past videos. And what you're going to do is put your line back under by the hook and just tie off. I just made a few half hitches and cut my thread off. Now you're going to take your thread again and put it back on about a 1/4 inch back. Tie it straight across and just get your thread back on there. I like to make some nice wraps so the line doesn't come off, and just snip it a little bit. Now you're going to form the head. You're going to pull this back and just tie straight across again. That's how you form the head. Really crank down as hard as your thread can at this point. That's going to make the nice bullet style head and make it look really nice. Now you're going to take your 3D eyes and just super glue them on each side unless they're sticky. Just put some super glue on the plastic and on the foam. Just stick it on. What you don't want to do at this part is take your thread off its wraps. You don't want to tie off yet because you're still going to have to tie in the legs. Okay, now I got my eyes glued down. I'm just going to take those extra strands of skirt material that we set to the side and just tie them in the halfway point of the material. You're going to want to tie these in above the eye. That looks good for now. And take your other 3, tie them in the same way you did on the other side. Except what you do is put it under and just pull it all the way up. And that will secure it, and just wrap down a few times. Tie it down really tight. And there you go. Now you just trim them up. I trim mine about 1 inch, and that makes nice sized legs. Trim them an inch on each part. And now take a few more wraps and just tie off, and you'll have a gurgler, or not a gurgler. Just make a few half hitches. There you go, your fly is almost finished. All you have to do is cut this part to however long you want it, and I don't want that big bulky part sticking up, so I just cut it off and make it look like that. Cut it to your preference, and there you have your completed fly. You could put super glue on all the parts where the thread is exposed, and that's a really great bass fly. To work it, you just strip it across the surface. You can make it in smaller sizes. I made this on a size 4 hook. You can make it small for panfish. And if you like this, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.